close your eyes if you're comfortable. And go into that sacred space, taking your awareness to that stillness within, taking your awareness to that ever-present peace right there waiting for you. And it is here, in the stillness, that we recognize that presence, that power, that infinite being that is ours. Ours to be, ours to know. Yes, we are of this one presence, of this infinite power. And here, now, I recognize that power moving through all of us as we have come here tonight, each with our own purpose, on purpose. Yes, we are guided here for that which we are to present, that which we are to presence. For each of us is a part of this experience tonight. Each of us brings with us that representation, that expression of that one power. Each of us makes this evening complete. So I know that this night is blessed. I know that all that we are and all that we presence here is but just the beginning ripple. And all that we learn here tonight, all that we share, and all that we play ripples out from here into the world, being that presence as we are. Yes, I indeed know it is blessed, and I am grateful. Grateful for each expression here tonight, each of us being who we are meant to be right here, right now, and grateful for the gathering that we call the revealing experience. So it is with great gratitude and in awe of what comes out of this evening that I just release this now. I let it go, I let it be, and say, and so it is. So welcome. Hello. Please join me in thanking Aria Dawn, and Miss Wendy Barnes.
Who wrote that beautiful song, by the way?
Excuse me?
She wrote that song.
Yes, that's true. The song that we just sang was written by Wendy Barnes. And I have the great privilege to be here with you tonight, but it is also my great privilege to be with Wendy and Sunshine for the second night in a row. How good is that? Yeah. So tonight, we are gathered for the revealing experience, the new thing here at Seaside. So welcome. My name is Reverend Mary LeKay, and I am co-minister with Reverend Sunshine in something that we call the Revealing Center. And for the Revealing Experience this month, our theme is Be Here Now, and the book of the month is Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith, a beauty of a book. Tonight, I'm going to begin with a reading from, I'm addicted, from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And this is from the Oversoul. There is a difference between one and another hour of life in their authority and subsequent effect. Our faith in moments, our vice is habitual. Yet there is a depth in those brief moments which constrains us to ascribe more reality to them than all other experiences. For this reason, the argument which is always forthcoming to silence those who conceive extraordinary hopes of man, namely the appeal to experience, is forever invalid and vain. A mightier hope abolishes despair. Man is a stream whose source is hidden. Always our being is descending into us from we know not whence. The most exact calculator has no prescience that somewhat incalculable may not balk at the very next moment. I am constrained every moment to acknowledge a higher origin for events than the will I call mine. As with events, so it is with thoughts. When I watch that flowing river, which, out of regions I see not, pours for a season its streams into me, I see that I am a pensioner, not a cause, but a surprised spectator of this ethereal water. That I desire and look up and put myself in the attitude of reception, but from some alien energy, the visions come. The supreme critic of all the errors of the past and the present, and the only prophet of that which must be, is that great nature in which we rest as earth lies in soft arms of the atmosphere, that unity, that over-soul, within which every man's particular being is contained and made one with all other, that common of heart, which all sincere conversation is the worship, to which all right action is submission, that overpowering reality which confutes our tricks and talents and constrains everyone to pass for what he is, and to speak from his character and not from his tongue, and which evermore tends to pass into our thought and hand and become wisdom and virtue and power and beauty. We see the world piece by piece, as the sun, the moon, the animal, the tree, but the whole of which, these are the shining parts, is the soul. And so it is. So, it is that time to welcome up our host of the evening, Reverend Sunshine Daye, and her message tonight is TBA.
Thank you for that beautiful prayer and that reading, Reverend Mary. Good evening, everyone. Ah, there you are. I would love to share with you this evening some of the joys that has come from my message talk title this week of TBA. You need to know that there is an entire team that comes together to make these evenings happen. Our sound team, our music team, our audio-visual team, our live streaming team, and the team that puts together the bulletins and types them up and just gets them all ready. And so, of course, in preparation for the week, I must have gotten about 3 to 4 emails from different folks. What's your talk title? TBA. Send. Okay, so when you determine what your talk title is, will you please call and let me know? And that's only because we know TBA in many circles to mean to be announced, or like TBD, to be determined. And so it is a joyful experience to have such a great team that they want to know. It's kind of like, okay, well, what is it? Well, as soon as you decide what it is, let us know so we can write it down, so we can have it in the bulletin, so we can, do our thing with it. And so when I explained to them that TBA is going to be an acronym for something this week, well, what is it? Can you tell me? Can you let me know ahead of time? It's TBA. You got to be there. And so welcome. Welcome to this place of joy where it is indeed a joy to be here. And it is indeed a joy to simply share with you a message and to share with you what has come forth this week from the reading of Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith. And in sitting with the TBA, there were so many acronyms that I could have come up with. And yet, the one that actually really kept coming strongly is truth being announced. Truth being announced. Because what I know is that Spirit is constantly broadcasting the truth. There is a broadcast that is happening now that when we tune into it, we can simply receive this broadcast. We can begin to know this truth. We can begin to experience it and live in, through, and as this particular truth. This broadcast is happening everywhere. No one is immune to it. No one is excluded from it. However, we must tune into it. It is like a radio station or a television station that needs that fine tuning that, when we're looking for it, it's kind of here. And when we're traveling on the road in a car and we're going from city to city or town to town, that favorite radio station that we've been tuned into all of a sudden begins to get a little fuzzy. And it always happens for me when my favorite song is on and I'm jamming to it or something like that. And it's like, shh. And I try to tune in and try to see if I can find it by just simply tuning in a little bit on the dial, and it's gone. And so it is, not that it's ever gone, but Spirit is constantly broadcasting. And if we want to hear and be receptive, if we want to enjoy that truth that is constantly being broadcasted, then we get to tune in. Yet, what is it that we're tuning into? Are we listening to K-Jam Me Up? You know that radio station that jams you up all the time? You know, that one that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough or intelligent enough, that you're never going to amount to anything? You know, the one that tells you that you're not slim enough or tall enough, or that you're not tall, dark, and handsome, or beautiful and voluptuous. You know, the one that tells you that you need to get your hair straightened out, or your teeth whitened, or you need to get something augmented here or there, or just kind of somewhere, somehow. When we begin to tune into those things, we begin to believe that we have a life outside of the life that God is. And when we begin to believe that we have characteristics, qualities, or a life outside of that life that God is, we begin to then experience lack, limitation, frustration. We begin to experience a small amount of what our true nature really is. The truth being announced, TBA, is that right where you are, God is. And when we tune into that through our prayer, through our meditation, through our affirmation, through our study, through our contemplation work, we begin to really hear, see, and feel and know beyond the shadow of a doubt within us that this life right here, no other, this life right here is that life that God is. That life right there is that life that God is. And sometimes I think, it's just not fair. Because from the minute we're conceived and that doctor spanks our little bottom and we begin to cry, we begin to be taught, we're taught that we live in a material world and that we're governed by the rules of material, versus being taught that there are spiritual laws, that there's one singular truth, and that is, in the beginning, God, and that God created everything out of itself. I love the analogy that Joel Goldsmith talks about this week in the reading, where he simply says, take a look at a tumbler, a glass tumbler. And can you point to where the inside of that tumbler ends and the outside begins? Can anybody? No, it's just a tumbler. It's just a tumbler. And so it is with us. So it is with God. That all there is God. There's no God and me. There's no God and you or God and some otherness. There's simply God. Now, there might be several functions. For instance, the function of the inside of the glass is definitely different than the function on the outside of the glass, right? Yeah, but it's still glass. It's still the tumbler. It's still that. And so if we can begin to simply imagine and simply know and begin to anchor within ourselves this truth that right where we are, if we take a look at our bodies, there's no place where our life ends and God's life begins. It's the same with the tumbler. But we have this invisible selfhood, this God presence that is in us, that is as us. God is the invisible and the visible in manifestation and demonstration. We are God in manifestation, in this expression. I love it when Joel talks about it here. He says, in the infinite nature of individual being, our true identity is consciousness, spirit, soul, and therefore we are not subject to the laws of matter. From the moment that we're conceived as human beings, we've been under the material and mental laws. We're governed by the laws of food, weather, climate, and space. Always as human beings, we're under some law, whether it's a natural law or a law of materia, medical, or theological. But see, these are just universal beliefs. Our true nature is spirit. And to the degree in which we begin to really anchor that week after week after week, to the degree in which we know this for ourselves, we begin to really live from this authentic place, from this grand place that is God. There is no otherness. He goes on to say, God is the universal mind or intelligence, but God is also individual mind or intelligence. Therefore, the nature of our intelligence and the capacity of infinity itself, our mind is unlimited as long as we realize God as its nature, character, quality, and quantity. It's our truth. The truth being announced. The truth being announced is that there is no otherness. There is nothing, no thing that can separate our life from the life that God is. He tells a story in the beginning of this chapter where, of course, everybody likes to hear the pearly gate stories, right? So this guy is at the pearly gates, and he knocks. And this is just a story. For we are God in expression. But it's just to prove the point. So he knocks. And of course, the voice of Charleston Heston says, "Who's there?" It could be Eartha Kitt, right? Who's there? And he says, "It is I." And of course, the voice of God says, "Well, there's no room. We ran out of room. Sorry." So this person kind of comes back and is just kind of pondering, probably in purgatory or that place they tell us we just kind of that way station, where we kind of wait around until we decide where to go. It's kind of trying to figure out what happened. Like, what's up? I've lived a great life. What's going on here? And after years and years of contemplation and really knowing, the light bulb goes off. So tries it again. Knocks. And the voice says, "Who's there?" And the response this time is, "Thou art." Come right in. We've been waiting for you. The story though it's not true, and though we like to hear stories about the pearly gates, is simply to drive home the point that we are God expressing in this human manifestation. That there's nothing, no thing that separates us. The minute we begin to believe that there is some otherness is when we begin to really, really believe in the world of effects and in mediocrity. The minute we let go of the ego, that I have my own characteristics, my own qualities, my own personality, if you will, and recognize that my life is that life that God is, I begin to experience everything that is true of God. For there is no otherness, and I can't experience anything else but that. But it happens to the degree in which I know this for myself. It happens to the degree in which you know this for yourself. So where is it that we can really begin to tune in and really fine-tune our knowing? Really fine-tune that station that when we don't get what we want or what we think we deserve, or when a relationship goes south, or when we lose a job, or when the bank says no, or when anything seems to be going wrong, if we're fine-tuned, we simply know this is God in action right here. There's a bigger picture. There's actually something happening in consciousness. There's something happening in our awareness, if we choose to see it that way, that can bring us to our truth. God is our source. There's no place where God's life ends and my life begins. It is one and the same. And as we think something's being taken away from us or something is being denied, it's simply being made manifest in a bigger way when we begin to recognize this truth. Sometimes a no is not a no, it's simply a delay so that we might know our life as the life that God is in a bigger way, so that we might come to the well, of life with a big container ready to be filled. Or are we indeed coming to the well with a thimble? I'll have some water, please. That much. Is that how much good we want? Is that how much good we think God's life is? Or are we simply ready to tap into the truth being announced, that our life is that life that God is, that there's nothing, no thing that can separate us? And it all happens over and over again when we dedicate our activity, our mental capacity, when we recognize and realize, which is the charge this week, and maybe the affirmation for this week, that spirit is my true nature. Spirit is my true nature. God is my true nature. And that which is true about God is true about me. There is no otherness. Spirit is my nature. So I invite us now to simply begin to take that into our meditation time, to begin to clear our laps from anything that we have, and begin to simply breathe in, Spirit is my true nature. And breathe out, right where I am, God is. And as you gently begin to close your eyes, allow yourself to just scroll through your mind those qualities that you know God to be. Abundance, beauty, creativity, divine order, clarity, wholeness, joy, love, peace, power, oneness, unity. That is our nature. That is my nature. Spirit is my nature. Begin to examine what it is you're bringing to this well of life. Begin to really take a look at what radio station we're tuning into, because we know that the infinite is forever broadcasting the truth. The truth is being announced, is being shown to us in every aspect of our life. And to the degree in which we accept this and we know this for ourselves, to that degree, we know that we are consciousness and that our life is that life that God is. That our life is love, beauty, divine creativity, joy, peace, love, abundance, wholeness, power, perfection. So we sit with that in the silence. Spirit is what I am. Spirit is all I'll ever be. We allow ourselves to deepen in this as we anchor this truth into our awareness and into the content of our consciousness. as we anchor this truth. Spirit is what I am. The truth is being announced. The truth is being announced. Spirit is what I am. In the face of adversity, in the face of what may seem to be going oh so wrong, we know that the law that we are governed by is that law of God. For God is our life. God is living us and breathing us and having its way as our very life right now. And as we remember that the glass is still the glass, that the inside is indeed that same oneness with the outside of the glass, and that it just simply has a different function. We recognize that it is true with us. That our inner selfhood is that great divine spirit that is God, that has created everything. And that the flesh is the manifestation of God. So it is one. There is God expressing beautifully and magnificently as each and every one of us. Spirit is what I am. So we simply give thanks for being able to rest in that truth, to being able to anchor that truth, to being able to be steeped in it a little bit longer. Kind of like a great tea is steeped in that water. We become steeped in this truth, in this awareness, in this knowing that our life is that life that God is. Spirit is what I am. And we allow ourselves to be governed by this higher truth. We allow ourselves to see the world of effects and to see beyond that to the spiritual truth. That there's nothing, no thing that can separate our life from the life that God is. So we rest in that oneness. And we take that forth with us as we go from this place. As we come across people and activities and situations, we simply know Spirit is what I am. My life is that life that God is. I allow myself to be governed by spiritual law. And I allow my life to experience to the fullest the divine nature of my life as the life of God. So we give thanks for our time in meditation. We give thanks for our time in the silence. Whether we've used it to contemplate, whether we've used it to affirm, whether we've used it to simply anchor this truth, or whether we simply used this time in the silence to be in the collective silence, we remain eternally grateful for the powerful presence and consciousness of this community. And we allow this time to edify us, to build us, and to remind us of our truth. It is so, and so it is. Amen. Welcome back. Some of you were gone. Just in it, in that flow, in that energetic, in that vibe. You know, we've received so much already, and there's so much more to still receive this evening. And so it is our time of giving, the time where we stay conscious, where we stay alert, awake, and aware. And it's a time where we give of our gifts in which we brought to share with this spiritual community. So I simply invite our ushers to come forward at this time. And as our ushers make their way forward, the invitation is for you to take your gifts, your tithes, your offerings, and to simply be in a place of gratitude, place of thanksgiving for someone, for something, for a new learning, for a new appreciation, whatever it is that you're grateful for. Attach that attitude of gratitude to the giving. Because when we give from a place of gratitude, that energetic, that vibration simply allows that which is being given to do what it does in a big way. And it also opens up the receptacles of our awareness and our consciousness to receive. Because the nature of God is giving and receiving. The nature of God is the ebb and the flow. And if we give grudgingly, or I have to do this, that's the energetic in which we also receive. We don't want to receive like that. We want to receive in that flow and that energetic of love and of thanksgiving and of gratitude. For as we give, we open ourselves up to receive in a large way. So it is from this place of gratitude that we simply give thanks for what we get to give and what we get to share with this spiritual community, knowing that it provides so much, not only for us, but those around us and those yet to come. So we simply bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, and we know that they're being used not only for our own edification, but so that more and more folks might recognize their life as the life that God is. And it's from this place of gratitude that we give. And we give so willingly and freely and in joy. So ushers, please go forth and multiply this consciousness. We know that our time is blessed. Thank you. And as we are giving, we also get an opportunity to receive. And it is indeed my joy to welcome back to the stage Wendy Barnes. I call her my mother-in-love because she is the mother of Sunny Daye. And not only does she get to be the mama of Sunny Daye, but in her own right, she is a world-renowned singer and artist and performer. She has sung with such greats as Stevie Wonder and Michael Bolton, and just a slew of other names that I can read off of a resume. But the resume is not as important as when you hear her sing this next song, you will actually get an opportunity to feel the love and the consciousness, and just, you will get to see and experience what I know and what I have known to experience and love so dearly for so many years. So please put your hands together and welcome back to the stage Wendy Barnes.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my darkest hour, she is standing right in front of me, whispering words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be. the broken-hearted. People living in the world agree there will be an answer. Let it be. And though they may be apart, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer. Let it be. 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 There will be an answer. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer. Oh, let it be. Oh, and when the night is clouded, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow. Let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me. There will be an answer. Oh, let it be. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer. Oh, let it go. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer. You ought to let it be. Oh, you ought to let it be. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it be so. Let it be. Let it go. Let it be. Let it be so. Let it be.
Wendy Barnes. Wendy Barnes. Ah, amazing. Thank you. And on piano, Aria Dawn, thank you so much. The nature of life, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And this is the part of our service which we all get to contribute to as a spiritual community. We get the opportunity to simply share with our community what's up for us in terms of what ahas we've gotten from last week to this week, any new epiphanies, how we've tabernacled in spirit and really recognized that our life is the life of God. Maybe there was something in the reading by Reverend Mary or the song that just simply moved you. I see a hand. That's what I love about this community. It's like, we're ready. We're ready. Hello, beloved.
Hey, hi. Hey, I want to thank you. I've been coming to all, is this on?
Let me
No,
see.
hello. Is it on?
There it is.
Yes, it's on.
We're live. We're live.
No, I want to say I've come to every service you've so far, and you're doing a fantastic job, and you're really opening up to the truth for everyone, and I appreciate it within myself as well. And tonight, Sonny's mom just absolutely was the cherry on the cake of your message because, yeah, she really said, let it be, and that's exactly what it is. You just sort of accept the truth and realize there is a bigger picture and let go and just realize that what we think it is, it's not always as it truly appears it should be. And so thank you very much for that. Thank you, Sunny, for fantastic messages.
My pleasure. Tell us your name.
Melissa.
Melissa. Absolutely. I mean, you know, what's so great about our service is that we get the message in so many different forms, whether it's in the music, whether it's in the reading and the prayer, whether it's something that one of us said. We're all revealers of truth. It's not just what the Rev says when the Rev's up on the stage, but we are all revealers of truth. We all are capable of receiving the truth, and we get to reveal that truth. And so when we just, as Melissa said, when we get the message in the music, that we just simply get to let it be. We get to let it be. And we get to let it be that my life is the life of God. I get to let that be too. Right? All right, who's next? Let's come over here, and then we're coming on this side. Tell us your name, beloved.
Good evening. My name is Kathy, and thank you for everything, all three of you. You know how people say it's likely as getting hit by lightning, like it would take a miracle? Well, we needed a miracle. And my daughter had to tell somebody that all the effort and love and work she's put into her growing her new business is going to dissolve because my daughter and I have to walk away from a business that we've been trying to grow, which is okay. But it was hurting the other person that was using our space as a teacher. So when my daughter finally got up the courage to tell her and was worried about her, was sad for her, was afraid we might get sued, it was like a big deal. The woman says, "You're kidding, that's the greatest thing that's ever happened. I've been wanting to rent my own space for a long time. Now I don't have to sublease from you." That's a miracle. And you know what? It happens like that all the time in our family. Because we just know that it's not us, it's all God.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. So many times we get afraid to share the truth. And, it is written, the truth shall set you free. The truth shall make you free. And we get afraid of not living in our own truth, because the truth is being announced. And the truth is being announced to the other party. The truth was being announced, get your own space, get your own space. And so when you finally connected and said, yes, this is it. We're gonna talk to her and we're gonna let her know. It's just like, hallelujah. I'm so glad, because I've been wanting to do this for myself as well. So thank you. What a great opportunity to see the truth being announced in so many ways, and how it actually benefits people, even when we think, oh, I'm going to be hurting someone, that it's actually a benefit, and we get to live in that. We get to walk through that together. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I shared a couple of weeks ago about going back to Arizona the next day for a 2 o'clock appointment. Never happened. I wanted to share about what you were saying in the talk about remembering your spirit when the circumstances hit. So that week that I shared, I was so moved. I was just coursing with the energy of God. Could not go to sleep. Got all my stuff packed. I'm supposed to get up at 6 a.m. Well, it just didn't happen. I wound up leaving the house with everything packed somewhere around 10 o'clock. Changed my 2 o'clock appointment to 5 o'clock, etc. So I'm driving, and I'm in this new Honda Civic with the phone in the dashboard. It's worse than having a phone in your hand because the whole dashboard. And I'm driving. I'm so happy that I'm going to the next part of my life. I'm all excited. I'm not realizing that I'm speeding. I'm on I-15 on a radar trap. Okay. So I'm talking to somebody who's giving me an extra workshop on a conference I'm in, and I'm excited. So I said, oops, gotta go. I see these red and blue lights behind my car. Okay, so you hear this voice go, pull over, get off the exit, whatever. So I get off the exit.
Was it Charleston Heston?
No, it wasn't.
It was the HP, right? Higher power. Okay, go ahead. Just kidding.
We're
Just
getting
kidding.
there.
Go
It
ahead.
ends with the higher power. So I have to tell you, I just said, gotta go, hung up the phone from the steering wheel, and, I'm pulling over, and, he comes over, and I'm, officer? So he says, ma'am, you were speeding. Do you know how fast you were going? The helicopter, the airplane clocked me at whatever. Okay, it was bad. So I said to him, oh, I didn't even realize I was going with the flow of traffic. So he says, you don't go with the flow of traffic, you go with the speed limit. Let me see your papers. And I said to him, you have to give me a minute. You scared me. I swear to God. So I got myself composed. I finally found the papers, all the stuff in the car, gave it to him. And he goes to his car, and I sat there, and this is what happened. I just sat there, and I was okay. And I said, God got a speeding ticket. And I sat there another minute, and I said, the good news, God can afford to pay for it.
That's right.
And, and he came back, and I said, thank you, officer. I know you're just doing your job. And it was, it wasn't until a few days later in the book of Johanna, I admitted that I was speeding, so it was due cause. But, then you get back into the book of Johanna, and you have to call your prepaid legal, and they give you a lawyer in Arizona, and they give you a lawyer in California, and you're lucky if you get away with $300 in bad driver school. But I just want you to know the God presence. It stayed with me, and that's kind of one of the worst, scariest things that could happen to you. But you guys were with me, and I didn't come back the next Thursday. I hate driving slowly. It makes it at least an hour and a half longer, the whole trip. But then I also looked at it and I said, maybe it's God's way of protecting me and saying, hey, Johanna, you're speeding through life a little bit too fast. Slow down, it's okay. And it's really not that big an alley, and really none of it is when you're in the God presence. And I started to look in my life at some of the things that have happened with people. How would that have been different if I had been in my God self instead of my ego? And I really had incredible breakthroughs. I'll let somebody else share now, but there's just so much happening, and I'm really grateful to be here, soaking it all in again. Thank you. God bless.
I'm grateful to be in your presence as well. So thank you for being here, because even in the prayer, Reverend Mary spoke to it when she said, we bring it. We bring it. And what a great opportunity to recognize the growth. To recognize, because sometimes we're in spiritual community like this, and we think, okay, I've heard this before, but sometimes we don't recognize our own growth and our own unfoldment. But to be able to pause and kind of go, wow, in the past, my ego self wouldn't have recognized this, but I was in my God self. I was simply being in my God self. I was knowing the truth of who I am. And it made it okay. I didn't have to curse out the CHP. I didn't have to tell them anything bad and try to make amends for it later on. But instead, it's like, thank you. I know you're doing your job, and God can afford it. God got the ticket. God can afford it. One more. Hi.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
Good. I'm Kathy, and I had an experience that could have been completely devastating, and stayed in the God presence. I had my neck fractured out in the water. A lot of you know that and know the miracle healing that followed it. But the entire time I was out in the water, incapacitated, getting hit by waves with a fractured neck, I was scared. Obviously, I was scared, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But what got me through it was just knowing whatever was going to happen was going to be fine. And a spirit of a friend of mine who had passed the year before kind of came there and started talking to me right in my head. And it was like an angel coming to me. And everything, not only did everything turn out okay, and they told me I'd be in a cervical collar for 8 to 12 weeks, and I said, hell no. I got the collar off after 2.5 weeks, was on the water by 3 weeks, and surfing in 6 weeks, and met my best friend because of that, and started racing surf skis because of that, and all kinds of stuff happened because of a horrible injury. And it was all staying in the God space.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Tell us your name.
Kathy?
Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing that. It's amazing. Yes. It's amazing when what we might consider something bad happening to us or around us, or we don't get what we want, or, like I said, either relationships or something physical or something like that. When something like that happens, if we stay in that truth, when we recognize that relationships don't make us, that numbers, dollar signs, how much money we have in the bank doesn't define who I am, that a position doesn't define who I am, that I define who I am. And the truth that is being announced is that I am what thou art. Thou art what I am. There's one power and one presence, and that is the life that God is. And it is expressing beautifully as each and every one of us. And so even with a broken neck or a speeding ticket or whatever it is that may come forth, when we can look at it and go, my life is that life that God is. This does not define who I am. I am spirit. Spirit is what I am. I am God expressing. That is who and what I am. Which means that which is true about God is true about me, even when the world of effects might say something different. When it might look a little bit different than what we thought it might look like. To stand in that truth and to trust God and to know, because we've done our prayer work, because we've done our affirmations, our meditation, because we've done our treatment work, because we've visited with a practitioner, that we can stand and face that situation and know right where I am, God is. My life is that life that God is. There's no place where my life ends and God's life begins. It's powerful. And I walk with you each week through this. So it's so wonderful. It's so great because I haven't arrived. I haven't been to the mountaintop and I'm coming down to tell you about it in a sense. Each week we go through this together. Each week I get to anchor that same truth for myself. Each week we get to support one another in this community, knowing that truth, listening to the stories and knowing that truth and anchoring it. And it's kind of like, just in case you didn't believe, here's somebody else talking about it again and somebody else talking about it again. And just in case, there's sunshine telling you all over again the same thing in a different, new way. Because it is our truth. That truth is being announced. And we're just fine-tuning it so that we might know it for ourselves. That we might know it for ourselves. And that we might live from that place. So, of course, I want to make sure that I thank everyone who's live streaming at home. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I want to thank our practitioners that are holding the light in the back of the sanctuary and let you know that they're going to be available for prayer in our little chapel in our sanctuary right here to the side, our prayer room. So as we exit, the invitation is, if you want prayer, to exit towards the prayer room so that you might receive prayer. And the invitation is, if you're not going to be in prayer and you're going to exit that way, that you do so quietly so that our practitioners can pray with folks who are needing prayer. But the real invitation is for you to hang out with me and Wendy and Reverend Mary in the family room and have some tea and some cookies, whatever refreshments that we have out in the back. I want to make sure that I thank Jenny and Tim, and I want to thank Ed, Aria, and let's give another warm applause to Wendy Barnes for coming out and being with us tonight. I want to invite her back up as we simply rise and sing our closing prayer. It's in your program. Where's your mic? Okay, perfect.
is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see, with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, our song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see, with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see, with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand.
Go forth and multiply. Spirit is what I am. See us in the family room.